Welcome to another episode of How I Discover My Gift with yours truly, is David D. Simons. I'm honored and delighted and excited to have an expert, but not just an expert, a true friend on the show. I wanted to let you know Shad Aboa, who is on the show today, has worked with clients and organizations over the last 20 years, developing systems and models to identify the blocks and limits that experts and professionals struggle with when it comes to building a profitable online business. He focuses on helping his clients turn simple ideas into income and impact. Let me say that again. He turns ideas into income and impact. So, turning their expertise and knowledge into a business. His mission, SOS Businesses, it stands for Simplify, Optimize, and Systemize. He is the creator of the Sixth Method. This is responsible for generating over $3 million. No, that's not a typo. Over $3 million in revenue for his company and clients. Shad has a passion and gift for helping individuals, coaches, consultants, trainers, and experts and organizations to get on the right path with the right mindset, skill set, tool set to build, grow, and scale a profitable online company, starting with what they know. Welcome to the show, my brother, Shad Aboa, in the building.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with my brother and friend, David.
Yes,
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, sir. Let me start this right. Bonjour.
Bonjour. This is better than bye-bye. Au revoir.
That's an inside joke, right? Like,
Yeah.
there was one time I meant to say hello, and I
Yeah.
actually said au revoir, which means
Au revoir.
bye-bye,
Yeah.
right? But I want to just, before we even dive in, I just want to just tell y'all, Shad is, not all guests do I have a personal relationship, friendship with, but I'm privileged to have that with Shad. He's just a remarkable person, a genius, a brilliant business mind.
Wow.
But
Thank you.
beyond his
Appreciate.
brilliance in his business mind, he's a awesome family man. I got to see him in settings of just how he shepherds his family, his wonderful wife, his beautiful children, and they're just an awesome
Thank you.
family. So I can see, you want to judge someone. You judge someone by how those close to him receive them and perceive them. And I see his wife honors him, respects him, his children adore him and love him. So I just wanted to share that, brother. It's a truly honor to call you friend, and I'm glad we get to finally do this show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Blessing,
Yes,
brother.
Yes, sir. So let's dive in, man. Give us a run through the journey, man, from, I don't know if it started in Ivory Coast. I don't know if it started in Canada, France.
Yeah.
I don't know. But give me the childhood to now kind of short story journey.
It's going to be a 41-year journey. Yeah, because I'm 41. I'm 41 this year. And before I even talk about my journey, I just want to say something about you, David. You also a true friend, true brother, and we had the opportunity to spend some time with you and your beautiful wife, and we saw the love, we saw the fellowship, and I think we believe that God is going to bless your house, God's going to bless your home, and yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you before we even dive in.
That's love, bro.
And yeah, my journey. I just said that I have 41. I'm 41, and I look like 21, I guess.
Yes, that's right.
I hope so.
Yes, you do.
And yeah, I read that 40 is a generation. I knew that before, but it's a generation. So every generation is not 50 years, but it's 40 years. And 40 years is it's called midlife. It's called midlife, and in some other places it's called prime life, And when I look back, my personal journey, I would say business journey, because I think this is what you want us to talk more about, right?
Yes.
I've over 20 years of experience. I worked 10 years for the United Nations as a chief training officer and senior training officer, and with peacekeeping missions. And with the UN, you travel a lot, depending on where the field on which you work. But I had the privilege and the blessing to travel a lot. Different countries and different missions and all that. And what actually made my shift into business was a couple of years back when I was in mission, peacekeeping mission in Haiti, not far from Montreal, 4 hours, Montreal. And I was blessed to be there and to help the mission closed as the chief training officer. And I left my wife and my kids back home. My wife was pregnant with our last born, Aura, the last born, and the kids were not even the twins. I had twins. I have 4 kids. The twins were not even one. No, I mean they were one. They were one. They were not yet. Yeah, they were one, and the eldest, the first girl, she was like 3. Yeah, something. And my wife was alone, and I was somewhere far from her. So I just realized that is that the kind of life I want to live with my family, me away for months, even though there was some time that I could come back home. But I just realized that that was not what I wanted. When I reached my 40s, that's why I started with 40, because 40 is very important. 40, you move from one generation to another generation. So I just decided that, okay, for my 40, I want to be home with my family. I want my company, I want to have a company that will be helping and supporting and, helping business and all that. So after that, I just realized that this is what I wanted. So I made a decision after this mission, I just go back home and then I start my business. So in 2017, I went back home, and then my baby girl was born. And the first company we set up was a digital marketing company, and it's called Tifora Media. Tifora is actually the combination of Tiffany, my firstborn, and then Aura, the last born, the girls. And yeah, this is how my journey started. And then today we have 3 companies, and including the digital marketing company. And then God is blessing us, and then we are impacting, we are leading, and we are helping and supporting companies, organization, clients all over the world. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it. I love the journey. Thank you, brother.
thank you.
So, what is your most dominant gift?
Hey, that's a good question. I guess before we come to your podcast, you have to think about that, right?
I love putting people on the spot. So, either way.
Yeah, that's a good question because not, quite recently, I thought I knew my gift. What was my gift? But I think I made a mistake, or maybe I was misled. And I thought my gift was training, because for almost 20 years I've been training. And one of the things, how I got into training was that my background is IT, information technology. And then, anytime you go work with companies for implementation, deployment of systems, you have 3 main parts. You have the softwares. You have the hardware, the computers and the laptops and all that you have to connect and configure. And then you have the software, which is called the software that you have in. And then the last part is the humanware. The humanware is the people using the computer, the hardware and the software. So when I actually used to go for implementation, configuration, consulting for companies and all that, we actually install the hardware, we install the software, and we also train the human. So it's called the humanware. And that's how I got myself into training, even though I was doing IT, but I was doing training. And I felt like it was something very, very natural for me, taking some complex information and turning into simple concept or simple understanding. And then I've been doing that for years, for years, for years. And I thought that was my gift. And people were saying, oh, you're good, you train well, Even when with the United Nations as the chief training officer, I had to train leaders and all that. I was even called to go, to travel, to go outside to train other companies, other organizations, other agencies and all that. And I thought that was my gift. But Recently, I realized I talked to God. I say, God, yeah, this is my gift. And he said, no, this is not your gift.
Mm,
Here's your gift. Your gift is simple. Okay, I say, yes, I understand that my gift is simple, but what is my gift? He said, yes, your gift is simple.
mm,
He says, what does that mean? He says, simple means simple. So your gift is to turn complex stuff into simple stuff. So your
mm,
gift is to make things simple for people.
mm.
It's not to train. It's because you know how to do that. That's why training is easy for you. Imparting knowledge is easy for you. So my gift is just simple, turning complex, difficult things into simple concept for people to learn, understand, and apply. So this is my gift.
Oh, it's definitely your gift, man. I see it. Wow. That's remarkable, right? Because you were
Okay.
still operating in your gift of simple,
Mm,
right? Even though God gave you the real download revelation later in
mm,
life, but
yeah.
you were operating in it. And what I would ask you is, when did you notice this ability? Did you ever, like, you, maybe others people notice it before,
Mm, mm.
but when did you notice it?
Uh, it happened, I think, in 2022. I graduated and I went to Ghana to
Hey, shout out to
study.
Ghana. Yeah.
By then, Ghana was, the hub of IT because I'm originally from Ivory Coast where we speak French. So you understand why my English is so Frenchy. But yeah, and I went to Ghana to study, and then by then I was in an Indian school, one of the best Indian schools in Ghana. By then, it's called NIIT, and after 2 or 3 weeks. Um, I was also gifted in IT. And then it happened that my trainer was the dean of, studies in that school. And then he just called me in his office and said, okay, look, I realize that you have this ability to explain to your friend, to explain to even complex, thing that people don't understand easily to explain. So will you be interested to join my faculty team, my training team, I say, how can you ask me that? I'm a French guy. I've not even finished my English courses because I was still taking my English course in Ghana before I, take my engineering course. And for me, it wasn't really real because I thought I did not really speak good English. I could not train. One thing is to learn, but another thing is to teach and teach in different language that is not your language. So
Right.
I said, okay, I love doing that, so let me do that. So that's how I got into training, and I realized that after less than 3 months, I was even elected as the one of the best faculty, in
Wow.
NIT.
Wow.
So that is how I realized. And one of the things that happened again, there was another Indian company that was establishing in Ivory Coast. So by then I went back to my country, and then they actually they went to seek for me to say, okay, we are opening this school here. We want you to come. We asked several people, and we say, Shad is the guy for you. So that's how I got to them and helped them. So I just realized that was my gift, turning complex stuff. But by then I thought it was teaching. I thought it was training,
Mm.
but that was not the case.
Wow. That I think you're helping to set a lot of people free. Maybe there's a lot of people that are similar that have this training ability, teaching
Mm.
ability, and they haven't really gotten to the root of what their gift is. So I want the listeners and the viewers to hear and see your simple gift in action. So I'm gonna ask you to break down something that blew my mind away. If
Okay.
you could share it with the audience, could you break down the difference between teaching consulting, teaching, training, and coaching?
Well, four big concepts that is actually all around today, either on the online space or not. But yeah, coaching, consulting, training, and what else?
Teaching.
Teaching. Okay, so let's start with those who are actually look similar: training and teaching. So, and then we talk about consulting and coaching. before that, I just want to say that, when you have gift, when you are gifted, one of your responsibility is to improve, is to fine tune. And I think when God gave the talents to the people to go and multiply them, one of the things that they needed to do was to learn more or to improve on their talent, on the skill. And that's what they do. Some did 10, some did 2, some did 0. It
Right.
means your responsibility is to improve. So one of the things that I did, and I thought that was my gift, we actually were trained. I went to get certified in training to understand the difference between teaching, training, learning and all that. So to come back to your question, teaching is more about imparting knowledge, knowledge and understanding. But training is more about skills, you know, skills and competencies. So when you are teaching people, that's why we say in primary school, kindergarten, and all that, we talk about teaching. We don't talk about training. You teach for instruction. You give instructions, knowledge, information, and all that. But when it comes to training, you train for skill, to acquire skills, competencies for application, so that you have the capabilities, to apply. So
Mm.
that's why usually, even if you realize what you do, you don't say, I'm going to have a teaching today. No, you say, I'm going to have a training. You're going to give a training. Most of coaches, consultants, they do training. They don't teach, because teaching is also related sometimes to what we call, I won't say kid, but it's more on the learner centered. And then the learning centered is different. Learner is the person, and learning is the content. So to make it very simple, when you're teaching, you're giving information, you're giving knowledge. But when you are training, you're passing along, or you are actually imparting skills and competencies. That's why it's easy to sell training than teaching.
Mm. That's good. That's good. See?
All right. So this is training and teaching.
Yes.
Now for consulting and coaching, consulting is more about selling your skills and expertise. I think this one I did not tell you that, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. Consulting is selling your skill. If you go to a company and they say, okay, we're looking for a consultant, they don't want what you know. They want how to do what you know. You see? So that's the difference. So when I come to your company to consult, I come with my expertise, my experience, my skills to help you solve a particular problem. Coaching is more about, using and applying your skills and knowledge. But the reality, when you talk about coaching is more of helping others to get a new way of viewing and perceiving the world. That's why in coaching, people most of the time make the mistake of telling. But in coaching is more about asking. And then one of the thing I'm going to end on that, one of the things that you want ultimately to avoid doing coaching is to instill your view of the world to the person you are coaching. That's why if you want to avoid that, you have to ask questions. Never tell them, okay, what to do. Everything is about questioning. So to summarize, coaching is more of helping the person to get the answer from and by itself. But consulting is to tell the person how to do something, more specifically, how to apply your skills to help solve a problem for someone or for an organization.
Beautifully said.
Yeah,
Wonderful. I love it. Thank you for that breakdown. Now,
my pleasure.
you were going into a thought
Mm,
that you're in the spirit, man. Like, this whole show is based off of the parable of talents, right? So, um,
praise God.
and the second, so I'm just gonna tell you where we're going and where we already left. The through that parable of the talents, and listeners have heard me say this scripture over and over and over and over again. But
Mm,
there was three phases in that parable. Right, one, God is showing them what they have, and they had to discover what they had.
mm,
So one had one had two. and another had 5,
mm,
and they had to discover what they had. And God never tells you like like even for you. Think about it like this: God never told you when you were 17 or 18. He could have told you then.
mm,
This is your gift, Shad. He
yeah,
never did that. He let you discover it,
yeah,
and then he clarified.
yeah,
And so discover is the first step. Development is the second step, which is what you said. God
mm,
expects you to development. So let's
mm,
go into development, right?
yeah,
Because you're a very well studied, well trained, um, well educated man, right? And so you've gone through a lot of development, both professionally and personally.
mm,
Talk to us about the development, right? They see you helping people make millions of dollars.
mm,
They don't know the development that goes into that. Most people don't even begin to understand what level to be able to build a building. We know that you have to build from the ground, right? And
yeah.
you have to tear down the roots in the ground. And that's that root work. So speak to us about your personal development journey, both professionally and personally.
Yeah, that is interesting. I hope we have time to talk about everything, but let me try to summarize and make it simple. Okay.
Hey,
Uh, it started with me helping grown-ups tune their TV. These olden days, they didn't even know how to use the remote, or maybe something's not working, and then I was this young kid loving stuff, gadget, electronic gadgets, and all that. And so when I completed my secondary school, and I had to decide where I wanted to go. I said, okay, I want to go into computer. I want to go into electronics. I want to go everything. So I went to the Navy School. I spent 2 years there, and in electrotechnics. So I learned electronics, electrotechnics, electricity, uh, uh, naval drawing, and all that. And when I completed, I said, okay, I want to go further, because that is where I discovered computer. And my first computer was not even a Pentium. It was a 486 and 90 Windows 95. Very slow. I mean, anyway, and that was good. We loved that at that time. And I said, okay, I want to move. I want to continue. That's where I went to Ghana. So when I went to Ghana, and I studied, first of all, this is very short. It's a journey, but it's a journey of development. And then I want to say that it was an intentional, and that is very important. Intentional doesn't mean you know everything, but you decide to do it. That's why every little step you take is part of you growing up in your journey, in your life. So it was intentional. I say I love computer. I want to go very, very deep into computer stuff. I didn't just say, okay, computer just to make money. I say I wanted to go very deep. So the first training that I took, the engineering program I was taking, was on computer hardware, how to maintain, how to build a computer, and all that. And I said, okay, look, now I know what is software, I know what is hard drive, I know what is mouse, I know what is keyboard and everything, motherboard and all that. And I can build a computer. I was able to build a computer. And by the way, I remember that I was so good that I was even called to go and train at 2 banks in Ghana.
wow,
2 banks, and the company that actually called me to consult, they even invited 2 other banks and the Ministry of Finance for other countries to come to Ghana to be trained by me. You
sheesh,
know, that was honorific, frankly speaking. But for me, it was so easy. That's why when you ask the question about gift, gift is really, you are gifted. It means you just do it simply. You don't think about that. So I said, okay, now I know the computer, everything that is in the computer, how it works and all that. And I realized that all the computers here can communicate. So I want to understand how they communicate. So I said, okay, let me go into hard networking. So I went to networking to learn networking, the cables, the modem, the router, and all that. So I learned that, and I said, okay. And I discovered that there were certifications to testify and credit that you know your stuff. So that's how I got into CompTIA certification. CompTIA is like it's a consortium of all the bigs in IT. They came together to say, okay, if this guy says a CompTIA certified in hardware, it really is, because we came together to build a certification. So I said, okay, I want to get that one. There was another certification, sorry, about N plus, Network plus. I said, okay, I need to get that one. And then I realized that when you connect two computers together, there is a language. It's called a protocol.
That's
There's
right.
a language they speak. And then you use these IPs and all that. So I want to understand that. But the best way for me to understand was to learn Linux, command,
Yeah.
prompts. And I went to learn Linux systems. And I said, okay, to show that I know the Linux system, I need to get certified. So I went to a Linux plus certified. By then it was very, very tough certification. I got that. And I said, okay, all these systems use a common platform, a software called Microsoft. And then by then, we're using Windows, stuff like that. So, okay, no. And there was a certification called the Microsoft Certified System Engineer. Everybody was talking about that, So, okay, this thing, I need to get that. But before that, there was an administrator. So anytime I learn, that's where, we have a common mentor who said that the purpose of learning is mastery. By then, I didn't know that that was what I was doing. Anytime I learn something, I have to go to the mastery level,
Mm.
not just learning small stuff and say, "Oh, I know about it. I learn about it." Anytime they ask me a question, and I think it came from the fact that as a trainer, this is one thing I told myself: I never want to see a student coming to me ask me a question. I will say I don't know. It's not that it's not possible. It happened. But
Yeah.
for me, because they're my student, I want to give them answers, the best answer as possible. That's why I was learning as much as I could and also applying so that I understand and I could explain. So my learning was learning to be able to impart, because there are two levels. Sometimes people just learn to apply, but they don't learn to impart or to share. And this is a science, that's why you need to learn that. So you can learn to apply and you can learn also to impart. So I was learning to both apply and impart. So that's how I got into, moving from learning from how computer works to how computers are connected, how computers are really communicating, and how they're implemented, as a larger scale. And the last thing that I did, okay, imagine now that a computer can communicate, it means people can do bad things through viruses. So
That's right.
how do we secure, communication between computers? So I went into security. So I took the CompTIA Security Plus.
Jeez.
And then, that's why I come back to that. When you're learning something, the purpose of learning is mastery.
That's
So I
right.
went to mastery. Yeah,
Wow. So,
so I have a lot of other certification, but I think this is enough.
oh man, that's impressive, man. You embody exactly what we talk about in development, man. This is so that's see now that's all on the professional side.
Yeah,
Talk to me on the personal side because you obviously believe in personal development. Reading of
yeah.
books, going to conferences, masterminds, networking, and you, in my opinion, you have helped one of the biggest leadership organizations in the world
Hmm.
and one of the biggest leadership experts, if not the best leadership expert in the world.
Hmm.
So, leave it to
Yeah,
you.
I mean, when you say that, just my heart is really biggest. The biggest is, I mean, when it comes to leadership, you all know John Maxwell, right? And I
Yes.
had the privilege to first of all join the team, and then after that become the marketing director for the French. We have different parts of the team. So we have the English team, we have the Spanish community, we have the English community, we have the French community.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the privilege, first of all, to get into the leadership, the Maxwell leadership team, to learn about leadership. Even though in my 10 years of experience with the United Nations, I was learning and developing my leadership skills, but I didn't really see that way when I joined the Maxwell leadership team. And there was a lot of things that I was doing as a leader that I really understood and developed better when I joined the team. And the second part of that is that the French team was starting, the francophone, not the French, but the francophone. So the whole francophonie studying. And then I had the privilege to meet the president, and he said, "Okay, we want you to help us," and that's how I got into leading the project of building the whole infrastructure for the Maxwell Leadership French. It's starting with the social media, the website, the copywriting, the sales team, the marketing team, the service team. And that was a beautiful, beautiful, a very rewarding experience, and we were able to build it, and by God's grace, and it's working fine.
Absolutely. I see it like a layer of like a cake, right? There's all these layers, and it's like all of your background and your like
Hmm.
was built for that moment, and
I
now
believe so.
all that you've done in that moment is built
Hmm.
for your next moments,
Yeah.
like all those certifications, all those trainings and things that you did, all that teaching, you had to use that, and then the experience with the UN. You're leading a team of,
Yeah.
like you said, francophone. So these are people from, could be from Cameroon, could be from Ivory Coast, could be
From
from all
as long
over.
as you speak French, So from Europe,
Yeah,
France, Switzerland, Belgium,
exactly.
yeah, and then from West Africa, the French part of Europe. I mean, even Madagascar. I
Wow.
mean,
Every
as long as you speak French, you're part of the Francophone team. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
So I'm just seeing
yeah.
like this cake, right? And it's just got
Mm,
layers to it.
mm.
And you are orchestrating this. That's a big responsibility. Talk to us about what that, obviously you it's one of it's something you cherish and you appreciate,
Mm,
but what was that experience like? And how did you take this completely brand new thing
mm,
to millions of dollars?
mm. That's a good question, because when you look back, then you ask yourself, was I able to do that? But one of the things that I think really helped me, and you mentioned that, was the personal development. The main reason I joined the Maxwell Leadership for myself was for personal development. I remember, I don't know if you can see my library here,
No.
but right here, here's my library,
Mm, got it. Yes.
and I have a lot of John Maxwell books here. But what I want to show you is that this was my first is Tony Robbins,
Mm,
and I went to France for a training on is a certification for project management. It's called PMP,
yeah.
Project Management Professional. I went to get a training for a week, and that's where I heard two people talking about personal development. That was my first time hearing about personal development. He said, "Oh, this book is good." And I said, "Okay." And I think this is even the first book I purchased on personal development. It's still
Wow.
here,
Wow.
and it's in French, because it's only France, so it's
Yeah.
French.
Yes.
And
Wait, what book is that for my English people? For
is in French is pouvoir illimité, but I think it's unlimited power, something
Okay,
like
that's
that.
right. Unlimited power. Got it.
Yeah, unlimited power.
Yes.
And I purchased it at 10 euros by then. That ain't a couple of maybe a decade now. But
Yes.
yeah, the reason why I'm showing that, because I didn't know that there was something called personal development. And most of time, people, employees, entrepreneurs, family members, family leaders, and all that, we believe that things get to us by accident. But everything we do is intentional. Our God is a God of intention.
That's right.
It's a God of intention. Everything he does is intentional. So why do we have to do otherwise? You know? And when I started developing myself in leadership, that is why I realized that leadership is more about sacrificing and helping others. So in every position I had as a leader, that was my mindset. So when I got the opportunity to serve the Maxwell leadership as the director of marketing and strategy, I say, I'm here to serve. So how can I best serve them? So we have to work on the strategy and all that. But this is something I perfected over the years, but I want to make it a summary. The first thing is the clarity. Is the clarity. am I clear on my goal? What was my goal coming to join the Maxwell and help them? Was I clear? What was the mission? So clarity is the number one thing. The number two is, now that I know who I'm serving, how I'm serving them, and what is the result and the objective. So what is the plan now? So from clarity to the plan, what is the 1, 2, 3 steps that I need to do? So what is the strategy? So where are we actually? Our main goal was to get the first 100 members, then the 200 members, 500 members, 600 members, 800 members, 900 members, 1,000 members, till we get to 10, 15, etc.
Wow.
So you have milestone. So the plan is actually coupled with the strategy. Then the last thing is, when I get stuck, where do I get help? Where do I get support? So these three things really help me, myself, my client, and other people that I serve and help to get results. So look, you, David, you have a business. So, and you want to start a new offer, or you want to start a new business venture. The first thing you need to have or to make clear is who are you serving? How do you serve them? And what is the problem you're solving for them? You have to be clear on that. If you're not clear, please, I'm sorry to say that, you're just going to mess up and then waste your time. So this is number one. Then when a client comes to you, what he's looking for reality is clarity. Most people, when they come looking for businesses or looking for coaches, consultants, and all that, they need clarity. They don't know that, but they need clarity. So now that I have clarity, the question I'm going to ask you is, oh, David, so how do I get result now? So, okay, here's the plan. Then you say, okay, I have a plan, I have a framework, I have a module, I have a system, it's X, Y, Z. So you have to you're going to follow 1, 2, 3. Now that the plan is set, hey, Dave, I started doing the 1, 2. Now on the 3, I got stuck. You need to have a support system. So this is basically the 3 things that I use in my business, including the SOS that you mentioned at the beginning, to really be successful and have results for both myself and my client. So the clarity, the plan, and the support.
Yes.
So, and all these things comes with leadership. To be a leader, you have to be clear on your mission and your vision.
Yes.
The plan, the strategic planning is for leadership. It's for leaders. And then the support is also for leaders. So when people come to you, you have to help and support them as a leader.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Like, what one thing that is evident too with your simplicity gift is the ability to put frameworks and strategy and all those things together. It's very evident that you're really gifted in that. Could you share with listeners about some of the frameworks that you have and the things that you're doing with offers and funnels, if you don't mind?
Wonderful. I can definitely. And I will just write so that I won't miss. I have a lot, but I'm going to choose a few of them.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with IVA, VCP, SOS. SOS is really the main, the core of our business.
Right.
And then the last one is Spectra. And Spectra, actually, I think you understand, you remember the discussion we had about training and all that. So let me start with Spectra. Spectra, you asked me a question about what is coaching, training, consulting, and all that.
Yeah.
How we help our clients and the organizations is that we realize that most of the time, people serve by speaking, by explaining, by teaching, by training. So we set what we call the proto model. It's like a prototype, but a model. It's called Spectra. Spectra stands for speaking, coaching and consulting, and training. So for us, if you want to engage with a company or with a client, you can start with speaking. So we help our client or organization set up what we call a keynote speaking, like a conference. Now, when people listen to you and they know what you are capable of, then they can say, okay, come and consult with us or come and coach us. It means you need to have a speaking offer with your topic and everything set. Then when they call you for consulting, you need to have a consulting offer as well, or coaching offer. And then the last one is training. The coaching is the most demanding, or coaching is also more demanding, so it's the most expensive. By the speaking, you can charge not, I mean, from zero to a lot of money, or training as well. Training is more about courses. So we help our client build their speaking engagement, speaking, offer, their coaching and consulting offer, and then their training offer. So for us, it's a 3-in-1. You need to have these three so that even if you don't have coaching or consulting clients, you still sell your training, you still have speaking engagement. So this is one of the model, the order of the frameworks, the spectrum framework. Now the IVA is okay. Now you may ask, oh, how can I build speaking, coaching, and all that?
Right.
For us, it starts with simplicity.
Of course.
IVA, you need to initiate, validate, and accelerate. Anything you do, how will I know that this is the speaking, or how will I know that this is the topic I'm really good, I want to share and all that is also aligned with my business plan and strategy and all that? You need to initiate. You need to test it. You initiate, you validate. As soon as you start selling and people are comfortable and are used and are getting result with what you have, then you accelerate. Until you validate, you don't accelerate. So this is one of the framework. Initiate, validate, and accelerate. And
That's
the
good.
other one is the VCP. Okay. In the process of you building your speaking, your coaching, your consulting, your training, and you need to start, initiate, validate, and accelerate. What is the process in general? You need to have a big picture. The big picture is that any business needs to have visibility. Then be credible before they are profitable. But sometimes people want to be profitable at first. If it's possible, fine. But if not, what happens is that you need to be visible. In today's world, you need to be visible because attention brings intention.
That's right.
And then the intention will bring engagement.
That's right.
Because when people are intentional, then they can engage with your offer, your content, and all that. So one of the things that you have to look for is get their attention. Then you're going to have the intention, and then you're going to have the engagement, and then the actions and the achievement. All right. So VCP starts with the visibility. You need to be visible. Then credible, talk about how you help, how you solve, the type of result you have, and then people will come to you. Then you become profitable. So I think that there are a lot of frameworks, but I think anytime I start talking to clients, organization, and all that, for them who want to do what we call digital transformation, these are the main things I discuss. And then the last thing is the SOS that you mentioned.
Yes.
Simplify, optimize, and systematize. If you get your business, the first thing I'm going to find out are your processes simple? Are your operations simple? If it's not simple, that's the first thing you're going to do. Nothing else. You're going to simplify. Then when we simplify, we make sure that this is optimized. Optimized means getting the most out of the minimum. If it's optimized, then we can systematize. The mistake that a lot of people make is that they start systematizing, automating things that are not working. Then it becomes a nightmare problem. So you don't automate things that are not working. You have to make sure that it's optimized, working properly, giving result, then you can automate.
That's good, brother.
Yeah.
Wow. Where can people get more if they want to learn and work with you on all these things? How can they get started?
Yeah. I mean, they can find me on LinkedIn. Okay, Shad Aboa, LinkedIn, and I have my a community of 14,000 people. It's French, but we building a new community, which is going to be a bilingual community. But for the French people who are listening to me, who understand English, or for even people who want to find out what we do, it's called Career Consulting and Career. Okay, it's on Facebook. And then you can just write to me if you want more information about what we do, our organization. You can go to info@shadaboa.com, info@shadaboa.com. Or if you want to talk to me, just go to talktoshad.com and then you can book a call there and talk to me. Talk to
Love
Shad, like talk to Shad,
Wonderful, wonderful. So
And don't forget, you can go on my Instagram as well. You can connect on Instagram. I don't like working. I mean, it's not I don't like, but I'm not too Instagram, but I also have followers there, so we can connect there.
we're gonna
Definitely.
plug that in. So we'll make sure to
Thank
plug
you.
that in the show notes. The final question
Mm,
we always ask all our listeners, all our guests for our
mm.
listeners is what's the difference between one's gift and one's purpose? The difference between one's gift and one's purpose.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And this gives me the opportunity to talk about our ministry. My wife and I, God actually put on our heart to help family entrepreneurs. Because we turn from employees or business executive into entrepreneurs. And then I just realized that the reason why I wanted to be an entrepreneur was to have time with my family. But the first year of entrepreneurship was not really easy. So
No.
I spent more time in business than with my family. That was paradoxal. But now, by God's grace, it's getting better. And we have the system for that.
That's
And
right.
to answer your question, that I just forget. So if you can ask me the question again.
The difference between one's gift and one's purpose.
Purpose, yeah. So I was coming to talking about the kingdom leaders. The kingdom leaders, our ministry that God gave us, is to help people enter into their destiny and accomplish their life mission. Enter into your destiny and accomplish your life mission. So your purpose is your life mission.
Beautiful.
So I just want to paraphrase one of my mentor, who is now with the Lord, Miles Monroe, who said, there is a difference between your job and your work.
That's right.
And I believe that throughout my career, my professional career, I was building my work through my job, the employment I had. That's why I was becoming good and better in teaching and training and all that. So my job was a way for me to get better at my work. My work is to serve. My work is to, serve the people that God called me to serve. And my purpose here in life is to be a channel for God to bless other people. And I don't know if I discussed that with you, and that sometimes when we ask God's will, we already know God's will for our life is to go and win souls for Him, to share the gospel for people to be saved. Right. Now, how do we do that? That is what you have to ask God. How do I do that? And this is through your mission, your life mission, and your purpose. So for me, and then your gift is part of that. You use your gifts to accomplish your life mission, which is your purpose. That's cool. Yeah. So this is what I believe.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Wow.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to plug all of those elements in the show notes. Phenomenal information. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to be amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I look forward to listeners learning more about what you have to offer, because you're truly a brilliant mind that they can glean from. So we'll make sure to plug all of those things. Thank you, my brother. I'll say the right way this time. Au revoir.
Au revoir. You did well. Blessing. Thank you very much for the invitation.
No problem. My pleasure, my brother.